Uh, Good evening, guys. Welcome to the 10th episode of Meet the Master Craftsman. Uh, Time has flown so fast. We started one with Vikram Bhava, and today we have Dhruvin on our 10th episode. That means nearly, I think, 5 months ago, 1.5 month, 5 weeks ago, with 10 of our Master Craftsmen coming in to share their life, their struggles, their successes, and things like that. Today we have Dhruvin. Is a fashion photographer, and he shoots a lot here. But his main shooting, I think, is more in France. He shoots a lot of editorial and a lot of campaigns in France, and they're all fashion based. He also shoots a lot of videos, what do you call fashion videos, for fashion films, which is another thing that he does. He's going to share a lot of that with us today. So he's like somebody who likes to blend his, fiction with realism to create a little bit of magic. He has worked for premium magazines, Vogue, Elle, and he's conceptualized and created campaigns for Reebok, Skechers, Dundox, Paris, to name a few. So without much of this thing, I'll start the conversation on with Dhruvin. Hi Dhruvin, how are you?
All good.
All good. Stuck in Mumbai, huh?
Yes.
Because I know you just told me you had plans to go to France in May, but it's all got stuck. A little sad, but that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah. But I'm hoping that by next month things will start easing out because the figures for Mumbai are a little encouraging. So hopefully things go well. Anyway, Ruben, what made you get into photography? I mean, when you start, when you just thought of photography, or you in love with photography right from before, or just suddenly out of the cuff, you think, "Chalo, let's go into photography."
Yeah, I think it was just random. So I was studying commerce. I was in my last year of commerce.
You need to speak louder.
You have to come closer to
Uh,
Come closer to the screen if you can. Yeah, louder.
I think it will be. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yeah. So the thing is, it was random. I never planned to become a photographer. Actually, I was not even aware photography, something like that exists. I was a commerce student, and one fine day I was with a friend of mine, and we were just chilling at his place, and one of his neighbor comes in, and he starts showing his photography work. And I was like, this looks really cool. Tell me more about it. And I just started talking to him. It happened to be he's Shadi alumni, Ashish Panchal.
Ah,
So
okay.
he was the one who I met, and I just didn't know anything of photography, and he was like,
He's another
"Oh,
good
Shadi."
shooter. Hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, "Cool," and I just came to meet you. And to be honest, I never even holded a SLR camera before my life for learning Shadi.
Yeah.
So it was just in that moment it just happened, and I think somehow I never wanted to do like a MBA. I didn't used to be MBA, but I had a creative liking towards music, fashion, and all of that. So I think destiny maybe it just brought me to understand everything.
Okay. And how? So it is Ashish Panchal who guided you to Shari, basically.
Yeah, he was the one who told me like he studied at Shari, and
Okay.
he showed me his work, and I was really shocked like wow, this is really a cool.
And
It was difficult.
did you enjoy your 2 years with the school?
Yeah, yeah, completely. Like I learned so much. Like I would say, my whole life perspective changed. The way I was seeing life, that changed. And I
Dhruv,
met
you need to
friends
speak
from.
a little louder because people also can't hearing you. So you need to speak a little louder.
I'm, okay, okay.
You to
I'll
get
do
the
that.
laptop in your lap itself, I think.
No, it's I'm at. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
This is a little
I,
better.
yeah. So I was actually I was surprised. Like doing commerce, you never attend college. Like it's safe. You just go to college once in a year or something like that. But here, attendance was like every day. And my whole life perspective changed after doing photography. And also like I made friends for life. Like those are my really good friends till now, who I hang out with, chill with. And it's a interesting way of seeing life through photography, and I use this as a tool to explore life.
Mhm, mhm. I tell you what we'll do. What we'll do is that we'll go through your presentation one by one. And while you are doing the presentation, I'll be keeping on asking you questions and all the thing. And while you're doing the presentation, I would like you to talk a lot as much as possible. I think you want to start with what you shot as a portfolio when you get graduated
Yeah,
from Shari. I think that's what you wanted to start with, I think. So I think that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So let's start with that. And then as we progress, we will continue talking and asking questions and stuff like that. In the meantime, guys,
sure.
all of you who are online, please keep on asking questions. And as and when in the middle of the whole thing, I'll ask the questions on your behalf.
Okay.
And if you have any questions related to the images, you better ask right now, not after we finish the whole thing. Right, so Dhruvan, you need to share your screen.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay. Can you guys see it?
Yep. Dhruvan, okay.
This is just a rough introduction of what kind of work I do.
Of course, fashion, portraiture, commercial photography, and film. He works between Bombay and Paris. Now, here comes my first question. Is that how did you think about Paris, and how did this whole thing of shooting in Paris start with you?
So I would say it was again an accident. I didn't really want it to be in Paris, but I was I was in a relationship, and that person encouraged me like you should go and explore life outside India, and maybe the kind of work you are doing, maybe you'll get a better exposure. So I started applying for scholarships, and there was this one. I'm sure a lot of people might know this school called Parsons School of New Design. So they have a branch in Paris in the name of Paris School of Art. So they basically gave me a scholarship, and I think I just felt like this is the right thing to do, and I just went for a scholarship and learned like a complete new world. See how actually fashion is inspired from and how we perceive it in India. So I was like, let's see a first-hand experience. Yeah, that's how
Yeah,
I did
because
it.
France is the start of fashion worldwide. That's what they
Yeah.
say. Fashion starts in Paris. So go to Paris, learn some stuff there, and then to be able to market yourself there. How did you market yourself there?
So I was just proactive. Like I was like, if I have 1 year over there, I should just use as much time as possible and keep meeting new people. And people are really open over there. Like if you drop them a mail, they'll never come and meet you. So initially first 2 months were really difficult because the whole language scene, you need to know how to speak French and all that. That's different part. And then also the way they live, it's very different from how we live in India. And also the ideas they have in terms of photography or creative wise, it's very different from what we think. So initial 2 months were a bit difficult. But also when you are in a very such situation, you try to fight more. So I think I started really approaching like all random people and magazines and mostly modeling agencies. So I started shooting with a lot of modeling agencies, and I used to do like small test shoots for them for their model portfolio. And we used to get a lot of assignments, and the assignments were very different. They never used to teach photography. So just give us a topic, and they like research. The main part is research, and photo shoot is just one day, but you have to
You
research a
planning the
lot.
whole shot, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I think.
Conceptualization, basically.
Yeah, conceptual. And then I think it's all about your like circle. Like once you start working with these people, they recommend another people, and the art scene is really good. Like you can go out every night and meet interesting people and collaborate with them. And start and someone will recommend you should do this, you should do that. So that way, it's a really big community as a whole. Paris, I think it's very easy to if you're an outgoing person or just proactive, you can just meet people and start shooting.
his voice is not clear.
Your voice is not clear. Thoda little, speak clearly and little loudly here, if you can.
Okay, okay,
Because the guys on Facebook are struggling. So,
okay. I don't know, there's some lag, that's why even I feel like your voice comes
no,
up.
I'm presuming that the net, because nets are all going crazy right now.
Yeah,
Like net is anyway crazy, you know, it's not really on its top speed right now. I think, especially in Mumbai, I think everybody is trying to get into the government sites to get the registration. They are, I think, wanting to register for this 11th standard and 12th standard and whatever. So I do believe there's an overload today, but just try to speak little clearly and
okay,
yeah, loudly.
I'll speak louder.
Yeah. Show us the next slide.
Sure. So,
I
yeah,
remember that shot. I remember that shot. This is, I think, what won the PIE award for us,
yeah,
right?
this
That
one,
one. Yeah, I think we took grand award for this.
I
Did we
think
do-
the first prize.
first award. A beautiful shot. I think it's like one of the Chor Bazaar thingies with Kaka sitting there out there, old man, but he's looking at some kind of a pornography
Relaxed,
magazine. Yeah, I know. I think that was deadly. I think, and it had an impact worldwide. I
Yeah.
mean, it is the an award-winning picture.
Yeah. So I think this is how I got into Shari, and then it started with street photography. Like we used to send us to different places like Uchol Bazaar,
Exactly.
go to Koliwada and all of that. I think this one there was some break going on, and we went to Rajasthan. And I shot this picture in Rajasthan.
Acha. Okay.
So yeah, this is how the whole journey started with photography.
He started with a bang, man. You know, he started with an international award.
Yeah. So this was I think first year. We did a lot of
First year. First year.
and I think that's what trained me, I think, to see things clearly and composition and everything, what you do in fashion. So I think that was a really strong base to start off with. When you're outdoor and just try to be and communicate and don't really, what do you call, scare people by shooting. You have to be really secretive, and I think that's what you learn. How do you communicate with people? So it was really interesting to see.
This is Crawford Market, no? Or Chor Bazaar.
This is Chor Bazaar, and on the left, this is, I think this was Dharavi. He is tanning leather.
Yeah, that's right. Standing leather.
Yeah.
Mm.
These are all portraiture assignments, different assignments.
Somebody who never knew photography, this was a nice beginning, no?
Yeah, it was, for me, it was a different world. And I was really excited to just shoot, like, just go every time and shoot something. It was not like a boring school, like how we really don't want to go to school. This was like a school which you want to go every day. And
It is
Yeah,
gonna get interesting now because the new education policy is going to put pressure on the children on like never never before. Uh, I'm just waiting for the kids to come back to school, and I'm going to be like maja aasa hai, you know, because unlike before where the final exam was a big deal, now the projects are very important. So suddenly the
Yeah,
whole thing is shifted to no ratifying, no last minute work. You well work right through the year, you know. So I'm just discussing it with the people. We're coming online on with that also. Anyway, next slide if you can.
so this was again Rajasthan. I think I really enjoyed Rajasthan. When I went to Rajasthan, it was really a different way of seeing things. And obviously, all photographers who go to Rajasthan, they come up with really beautiful photos. And this would be almost 10 years ago now. So that time, I don't know, photography was not so common like how it is like now. Like now, because of Instagram and all, people are aware. Like photography can be a career option. But back then, people would just tell me like, are you going to do weddings or are you going to open your studio? So I was like, no, photography is way more than that. Even my dad was questioning because he is a businessman. So he was like, do it for the fun sake of it, but you have to come back to business. But then I think now he really respects me for what I've told him.
Yeah, that makes sense. My dad was a chartered accountant and he wanted me to be a chartered accountant. So I had to study, become LLB. Finally, he got tired of me and he said, do what you want. And then I ran away to States, studied my photography and came back. Anyway,
Yeah, I think that's really amazing. You got a chance to go to States right away. My dad was not convinced in the beginning. He was like, study somewhere here. And, so on the right one, this was Pushkar. Like how Pushkar was really big when we were in Shari. Like everybody used to go to the, it's like a ritual where people used to go to Pushkar Mela. I don't know how popular it is right now, but this was really good time.
quite thanda now. In fact, today there are more photographers at Pushkar than the local people.
Okay.
It's becoming that crazy.
My battery died somehow. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that was the time where we went to Pushkar. I think it was like second or third month, and we all became like really good friends. Went to Pushkar, we took a bike and we went all the way to Jaipur, and it was really fun time, and also like really amazing shots. Like you are overwhelmed by the amount of photos you can take in one day at Pushkar.
True, true, true.
Then came people photography, I guess, after we finished the whole journalism part.
I remember all these shots. I remember all these shots.
Yeah, I don't know. Now I look at them, I feel they're very dark, and I don't know what kind of
You
thing.
were high on contrast at that time. I forgot this guy. Who's this?
Vivek Pawar.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Vivek.
Vivek Pawar. Yes, and Vivek Pawar himself is such a big photographer now.
Yeah,
He's
I've
also
lost.
a huge photographer now. Yeah, yeah. He's become a legend in his area, basically. Yeah, people call him sir, and I'm quite, I'm quite happy with that. And here, look at him. He is modeling for you.
Yeah, I think I used a lot of Sari students. I also shot with Kunal and two, three more people.
Best shot you ever took was Debashish.
Yeah, Debashish and Adrian. It's gonna come back now, I guess. I put one shot of Adrian, I guess I remember.
Mm.
So these are the influences. I think when I was at Shari, I was really into Indian electronica music, and I think that also somehow helped me understand my work. And music also is quite visual for me. And I was trying to see how I can blend Indian culture and Western photography part together. I think it was like from the beginning. I think I had that, and I was really inspired by these guys, Medieval Pandits and Karsh Kale. Like their music was really amazing back then. And that time also, I think where Shari was before Chichpokli in that mill. So Blue Frog opened over there, I guess, somewhere around in that neighborhood. And I used to come to Blue Frog, and I was like, I don't want to miss that gig ever. And we would always go for gigs of Medieval Pandits, Anushka Shankar. And somehow I think that I incorporate also in my work. So I tried to use really fashion gown and then blend with Indian Kathakali dancer. So I think my final year.
This is the final portfolio. That's right. Is that Debashish at the back?
No, this is Adrian.
Adrian, I see.
Devashish, there was another shot. I haven't really. I
It
didn't.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
these are the shots which you took for your portfolio when you were at Shari.
Yeah, final year portfolio. Yeah.
That's right. So you're already, in this kind of, movement already. Thinking very differently, thinking out your shots. You didn't just put a background and put a model and shot it or something like that. You thought about it.
Yeah.
Conceptual before and then shot it.
Yeah, everything I think it's interesting in photography how you can then sets, clothes, makeup, and all together. So you are like a director in a way, and you are trying to tell people like this is what I want and how everything comes across together. It's really beautiful. So that's how I started enjoying. Like in this shoot, I was going around everywhere to find a perfect backdrop, and then we made a customized dress for this shot. I found a designer and we collaborated, and it was really amazing. Like I think after this, I got a lot of work because of this shoot, especially.
Exactly. So the fact that we forced two people to make your portfolio,
Yeah,
that has always worked with us. It has always worked
yeah,
with my students and all. Also.
definitely.
I'm
And I think second year, I was not shooting a lot of products. I think I really understood that products is not my scene at all. So I was doing a lot of people shoots rather shooting products.
Mhm. That's good. That's good.
So I think after Shadi finished, I was looking for assistantship and I applied at different places. And I think Farooq Chotia I met and he was like, yeah, you can join in from tomorrow itself.
Wow, that was lucky.
It was really crazy. Like working with Farooq, who I think is really tough guy and he literally puts you on your toe. Like he will just make you run like for your life, like for the whole time. So this was the two, I think one of the two shoots which I was there. And also he's, what do you call it? Technically really strong. Like he knows what he wants.
Oh yeah.
Really sure. So I think I learned a lot about techniques and also big productions, like how you handle such big production. So I was doing a lot of things at Farooq. He started giving me CDs to rip in Apple Music. He was like, if you do this right, I'll give you better jobs. So that's how it started. And then I was retouching his photos and all of that, and it was really cool. I think 1 year I really learned a lot, and it was quite a crazy experience to learn from someone like Farooq.
That was lucky of him. In fact, Farooq always talked to me, and because he's taken a lot of our students. A lot of our Shari students have assisted him, and he kept saying, "I'm always wondering that you were that me when he was talking about me, and he's talking about me." So he said, "Yeah, I never knew you were so good at fashion that when your students come to my place, they take to it like so easily." You know, he said, "But well, when you are a trained photographer from a structured school, you know everything. At my time, there were some 8 or 9 people who used to do fashion photography. I mean, clients.
Yeah,
It used to be a massive fight. So I said, I don't care, basically. But we used to get a couple of them in a year anyway. So
yeah. I think Kamna was also from Shari, I guess.
exactly.
So she was at Farooq before me.
Then I think Vinod Krishnan was there. There are a lot of
Yeah,
them.
yeah. Vinod. I think when I was there, Vinod also used to be there.
Yes, Vinod was there. There was a lot
Yeah,
of.
yeah. I remember Vinod. Yeah.
Like, the next interview on Wednesday is Vinod.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah? So it'll be interesting to see that guy doing his celebrity shoots and all that thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we were almost there. I think Vinod was there. He was more like a freelance assistant. He used to
Mm.
come on the shoot, but I was the one who would be like at the studio whole time.
Every day. That's right. That's right. Okay.
So after that, I think I had to make another portfolio to be relevant to the market. So once I left Farooq, I started shooting a lot of test shoots for myself. We used to travel around Bombay here and there for locations, and I think this one we went to Palghar. It's really nearby from Bombay.
It looks very familiar. So that's the place we normally used to take all our students in, the Golwad,
Yeah,
Bodi, that area.
yeah.
Dahanu.
Yeah, so I went there and we shot this one whole thing, and it came out really well. And
Mm.
then I started my whole journey as a freelance photographer, and
Wow.
it's really interesting, like how you start and you have to make a book, meet magazines and all of that. So I started approaching a lot of stylists and everybody was really open to collaborate. So it was really cool that I made portfolio with these guys. This we shot at night, like the whole shoot we finished in like 2.5 hours
Mm. So that means
at night.
you collabed. The collaboration which you did was with the artist or with the clients?
No, this was more with the artist because I had to make my book before
Barabar.
going to see magazines or clients. I was like, let's make a strong book so people can't say no. So I was like, let's shoot. And this, I think it's good planning. And then once you are really you know what you want to do, this whole shoot we finished in 2 hours. We started at 12 o'clock at night, and I think by 2:30 or something, we even wrapped up.
Wow.
So
But
I
then you were clear in your mind that you wanted to make a book and not send people just emails or by using social media and stuff like that.
that time, I don't think the social media was that big.
That big, yeah,
We
okay.
hardly like 10 years from now, it was not that big, and you don't even know people like who's the creative head, who's the director. You have to buy a magazine and literally look into it. Right now,
Bravo.
Google and you can find, okay, this guy is that.
Mm.
I think there was a lot of interesting people I met in the beginning, and everybody really helped me in making my portfolio, and they were also excited to create a book along with me. And then I started meeting all the people who I knew or someone who I can just randomly approach. And I think work started flowing in slowly. I'll go to the next slide.
Mm.
So this shoot was really interesting. So I made a book, and I had this friend of mine who is still makeup artist of Ranbir Kapoor. So he was like, we are doing an ad campaign with some photographer. I don't remember who was it. Do you want to come and see how people work on sets and all? I'm like, yeah, sure. And I had this small iPod where you can also add pictures, like 3G types. And I had added some pictures, and I was just showing to the people on the set. And luckily, there was this guy who passed by, Alim Hakim. He's the hairstylist for Ranveer. So he's like, show me what are you showing to these guys? And he was like, dude, this is really cool. He's like, I want to show this to Ranveer. I was like, really? Are you going to do that? He's like, yeah. And he's like, come with me. So he took me to Ranveer, and he actually showed Ranveer the photos. And Ranveer was so happy. He was like, this is a really new kind of work I have seen. And he's like, I'm doing a movie called Rockstar. I'm definitely going to call you for that. And I was like, these guys just talk big things. I don't think so it will ever happen. And literally, I think after 2-3 months, the production house called me and he's like, we are planning to start the production for Rockstar. And Ranveer decided to go with you. And I think celebrity have that hold that even
Absolutely.
you can tell a director that I want to shoot with this guy. And I was like really young. I would be like 24 back then.
Mm.
And I was like, I want to shoot with Hasselblad. I was like, that's my goal. I was like, let's try it. If you are getting to shoot something like this. And I think this shoot turned out really well. We did a couple of photos, and he is such a cool, I think, celebrity. He was like, if you want to do anything personal for yourself, please tell me. I'll be ready to pose. I was like, no, you've given me so much time. That's good enough. And I think I started showing shoots, and especially this shoot, and people were like blindly giving me work because I think in India, celebrity takes over the whole.
Absolutely. Celebrity works always. Yeah.
So I think work just started coming in. I didn't really expect that much work, and it was never like a struggle, to be honest. Like it just started really smoothly.
No, but you went by the book. You see, you did exactly what we had told you to do.
Yeah.
We told you do the 2 years of Shari, assist for a year or two, make your second portfolio, go in the market. You will go for it and make it a print or a book.
Yes.
Don't go on with a laptop or something. And I did say it works. It works royally.
So I think after that, Aiden, who's like my batchmate at Shari, we both started. We both thought like, let's start a studio. Let's go and let's see if we can get a studio. So we went to Aram Nagar and in Andheri, and we were like, let's see if we can start it. And this was, I think, the second year of I think my freelancing work. We already got a studio, and we were like studio partners. So we were like, at least we have a place we can shoot. So it was really amazing time. I think having a studio for yourself is really great. Right now, if I think it's difficult, but back then it was really cool to have a studio and you can do as much shoot and you can also give it for rent.
Mm-hmm.
So this was really cool chapter which started with Aiden, and I think until I was in Mumbai till 2016, I think from 2012 to 16, we kept the studio because I was in Mumbai. But as soon as I left, I was like, I can't be a partner anymore. So I had to let go the studio part. And then all the interesting collaborations and brand work started once we had the studio, and we used to do a lot of test shoots. Like if I have time, I'm like, let's do a personal shoot. And I think a lot of your work, for me, I think my personal work has given me commercial work. People don't really look for my commercial work. They're like, they want to see your personal work. So I think they get inspired looking at this and they're like, maybe we'll create something on these lines. So for me, personal work has always been like bigger than commercial work. I put a lot of effort and energy in creating personal work. So this was a collaboration with this Portuguese makeup artist, and it was really amazing. Like we thought of crazy things, and there's this designer called Shane. We collaborated a lot, and we all three jammed in together and created this really amazing beauty shoot. And it was really cool back then. People were really asking like, "Wow, what are you guys?" then started magazine work. I think this guy is some Tala Jewels CEO or something. They wanted magazine portraits. So magazine portraits started off eventually, and it was fun. It was fun. I didn't want to do like those clean white backdrops. So I was like, let's try and do something more colorful. So yeah, I think I started doing magazine work, and it starts with portraits, and then eventually they'll give you stories and all of that. But
Mm.
initially you have to do portraits.
Mm.
So this was a designer based in Delhi who saw my work somewhere, and he's like, I want to work with you. So I was like, cool, bro, but I'm in Mumbai. He's like, don't worry, I'll fly you there. I was like, cool. And then I was like, what's the location? So he's like, I know a really cool place which is nearby from Delhi. I think this was Vrindavan. So he's like, we can go there. And I was like, it would be really cool to shoot the Babas and the people over there with, fashion. And obviously, like how in Shari I learned the street photography. So I was like, let's combine those two genres and create something. So we went there and we shot, and this campaign turned out to be really cool. And people started, and actually this got featured in a lot of different online magazines back then. So that gave me a really good boost,
Okay.
and it was fun. Like we had hired like 4 different models, and we took all of them, and we were like, let's go to Vrindavan and shoot. And it was all spontaneous. Like we didn't really plan like we are gonna shoot at this location. Jo mil gaya, we'll just shoot there.
Then Vrindavan is pretty anywhere you go. So
Yeah. So this was again for the designer. Did some studio shots and then went out to shoot somewhere, Ballard Estate and just normal Mumbai.
kind of figured.
Yeah. This was really interesting shoot. I think I met 2 really interesting people. One guy who was a stylist, Kshitij, he's really big right now in Bombay. And the other makeup artist, Mitesh Sajani. Even he's become really big in Bombay. And this was, I think, our initial days of experimenting and doing things which we really love. So this was again a personal shoot. But after this shoot, again, I got a lot of different kind of shoots seeing this shoot. And for me, it was difficult to shoot black and white. I normally see everything in color. So I was like, let's challenge myself and do something which is black and white. So I think it was just outside my studio, and I was like, let's just put a backdrop and use the natural light and just use a fill light in front. And yeah, it was really cool to do such looks. Then I think also a lot of inspiration comes in place. Like I keep reading a lot of different stuff from Upanishads to Tao of physics, like, and then also Western philosophies. I'm really inclined towards that. So I somehow try to not just learn photography, but more than that, I try to learn different aspects of different things, and then try to understand what are they questioning and what are they trying to say, and try to put that in my work somehow.
Wow. Okay, that's interesting. But that's a point you know it's a very critical point you made because today's youngsters are a little frustrating for us because uh, apart from wanting to just learn the street light and this thing instead of understanding the background, understanding the surroundings, they just want to go straight into it. And I said, guys, you're going to become mechanical people. You're not going to be able to do your own conceptual shoots in life. But
Exactly.
this is a struggle that which we have to, of course, fight with at this point of time. But
Yeah, I think there's
very
so
interesting, I think.
eventually. So I think when I learned eventually, I was like, I just don't want to do good technically beautiful pictures, but it has to have some
Exactly. It has to touch your heart.
touch. Yeah. So I think something that conveys you or something which has a small story to say. So yeah, these are my personal thing which I start putting in my work.
No, I'm glad. I'm glad you shared this. In fact.
And then came the bigger campaigns. So I did this City Walk campaign for the shoe brand, and the client was really an old guy, and his son was stepping into the business. So somehow he found my work, and he was like, "I want to do something really new, not what my dad has been doing for so many years." So he told me, "Whatever you want to do, you just plan it out yourself, and we'll shoot it." So I decided, like, if you want to show the shoe, let's let's give the models only black clothes or white. That's it. So the shoes like really comes out really well. So it doesn't get hidden. We wanted to show bags and shoes. So yeah, this campaign was really cool. It worked out really well. And I was always at this era of using all the fancy equipments if client is paying for it. So I was like, let's call for Hasselblad. Let's not go for a smaller thing. Let's call for bigger lights. And this was shot in my studio only. We made a small setup. This was a campaign with Ogilvy. I think this was one of the coolest campaigns I worked with. This was actually for a bank. Can you imagine someone shooting like this for a bank? Oh, I think Ogilvy is a cool agency who pushes the limit. So they started with this thing called DIY. Like you can, what do you call, make a bank account just by sitting at home. You don't have to come all the way home. So a storekeeper, she's just putting mainly by herself. This guy is cutting his own hair. The tattoo guy is making his own tattoo. So it was a really cool shoot, and this was happening simultaneously where there was a film happening. So the director was really cool. He was with me, and he was like, "You can push the agency." Somehow agencies try to make it a bit commercial, like thoda ye add kar de. Then I was like, I don't know. And the director really supported me. He's like, bro, if you have a vision, just tell them I can deliver that. And actually, it turned out really well. The agency really liked the work. And for me also, I think it was a really cool campaign. And I think then I started doing a lot of work with Ogilvy after this. Then I think almost 4 years from 2012 to 2016, I was in Bombay doing a lot of different advertising work. But there was a saturation point in between somewhere. Like I was like, I don't know, I'm not getting enough creative work or something like that. I was like, let's see. And there were a lot of different things going in my personal life that time. And out of that explosion, Paris happened. And I was like, wow, let's see. So everything was like putting the whole career down. I'm like, let's start from the scratch. Move to Paris. And
seems to be a trend in my Shari kids. Establishing and then blowing it and going to another place and restarting and again doing a terra venture.
yeah, because I think you get bored after a time doing the same thing. So you want to have a break. And I was a lot of shoots in the studio. I was like, now I don't want to use Flash at all. I don't know what happened. I was like, I don't want to shoot. So I think after 2016 until now, I rarely use Flash. I use mostly natural lights and just film lights. Nowadays, I use a lot of film lights. And for commercial campaigns, sometimes you need to use Flash to show the product. But most of the time, 95% I try to shoot with film lights. And then the whole Paris thing happened. And I think as a person, I also evolved a lot. Just moving to Paris, living by myself. Here you are so pampered by your mom and everything. There you have to do everything from scratch. So I think it was quite challenging also at the same time, but it pushed my limit a lot. And whatever I was going through that time, I started putting that in my work. What I was missing, what I was having issues with. So I'll quickly show film.
So film?
That's how my film work started.
Oh.
So this was the first film which I made. So I had written it, I had directed it, I had shot it, and I edited it. So everything was done by me. And there was this really amazing team who helped me do this.
You made this film for yourself or was it for a client?
No, this was for myself, and this was, I think, my first film which really wanted to make something, and this was also a small assignment from my school. They're like, you have to also start making films now. So I was like, cool, let's conceptualize, let's plan it, and it was really amazing thing. I was like, wow, this is like an extension to photography, and I started enjoying films after that.
Okay. You want to show us more?
Yeah, I think I'll eventually show. I think I'll share photos. Eventually, in my
Mhm.
so that time I was going through this whole what do you call it? Contrasting, like what's different between a city life and a life more in remote place. Like there's a conflict going on in my mind. So I was like, let's try and put that conflict in the film, and let's see. Like, so I think somehow you also get answers by doing your work.
Hmm.
So these are different shoots for different magazines, which I shot there. Then Paris is a city of art. Like you can't really miss it. And I was really curious in exploring that whole side of Paris.
Hmm.
And there was like a huge explosion for me. Like to be honest, when I was in India, I hardly knew like 2, 3 artists. Let's say Picasso or few artists who were popular. But after going to Paris, I really understood the whole way of how people see things and how people are questioning through the work. So Magritte's work, I really was shocked. Like when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is so powerful. How it's so surreal and it conveys such strong messages. And this one photographer I really like, Bjorn Michaels. Bjorn Michaels, he's really amazing. Like the kind of work he does, it's all about questioning the nature of reality and what is life and what is death. And those are the same questions which I also had in my mind. And I came across all these cool artists. So I was like, it's good to learn from them and see how they express their emotions and feeling. And there are this contemporary artist, uh, Ryoji, who's from Japan. So I went for this installation actually. So it was in a massive warehouse kind of a place, and it's projected on you, and there's a sound, and the kind of experience you feel being there, it's
Hmm.
tremendous. And I was like, wow, how sound and visuals can make you feel. So yeah, slowly I try to see how I can put that in my work and collaborate with different artists. So these are the artists I really love and I'm inspired by their work.
I really hope some of my students are watching because when you tell them to go to Jangirad Gallery or a museum or something like that, they should see the face they make. You know they're not going to go, you know. They
I
just
think it
don't want to absorb. They're so crazily focused only कि मेरे को बस ये technique सिखा दो and I'm going to go and kick. But they're just not understanding that that is not what makes you an artist. You know?
eventually I think they will understand. I
They
think
will understand. Yes, yes.
someone like even I, when someone told initially when I was in Bombay, people would tell me go, I was like, "Kaun jayega?" But when things are also has to be accessible. In Paris, things are very accessible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think if things come to you, then I think it makes more sense rather just rushing for it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, this was the whole art thing.
Now I'm loving the way you're sharing your life. Yeah.
Yeah. So then again, there were the same thing, that girl who's holding a blanket. I had to move different houses. It's not so easy to find apartment in Paris. So I was like, I wanted to show like how I'm also going through, and I was putting that also in my work somehow.
Hmm.
So this was again the same series where you are moving. So there are all different things which you're holding in your hands, and you are ready to move from one apartment to another apartment. I'll share another video. So this was a film for a makeup school. So their brief was very simple. They are like, we don't want to show makeup directly. Our tagline is life is a stage. So you can do whatever you want to do. It shouldn't be so direct. So we decided to shoot with these two dancers, from two different genres of dancers, and we're like, let's try and see simultaneously and very spontaneously where you guys take this whole thing to. And we just shot around Paris at night. Yeah. So that night it was raining in Paris, and we thought like we'll shoot outside Paris because it's so beautiful. And the ballet dancer, she was like, I can't dance in rain because my shoe has to have like really flat. So like, let's shoot everything under something. It was another challenge, which was like, let's try and see how we can make it. Yeah.
What was your thought pattern? I mean, if you're talking about makeup and stuff, how did this get the point across?
So that tagline is life is a stage. So that's how we use this. Uh,
Okay,
life
okay,
is a
you did
stage.
it. Okay, fine, fine, fine.
And people are quite experimenting over there. They don't really want to do exactly what's been fed to
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah. France is weird. France and Germany, these are the places where you will see something totally off the cuff, basically.
Yeah. And the clients really respect you for what you are, and
Mm.
they like you just do what you feel like. They won't even tell you I want this. So that's really amazing freedom that you get there. And somehow I think that's really important for as an artist. Like you understand, like you have been respected somewhere. So yeah,
Pretty nice, pretty nice. It's a good feeling, I'm sure.
it's really good for you. And
Mm.
a lot of clients of mine, they're like 55 also, but they are like, if you feel that right, just do it. I don't want to tell this is right or wrong. Just do it. So yeah, that kind of things. I think in India it will take time. People to have that acceptance.
Yeah, I know.
So I personally love doing editorials. That's I think one of the most important part in my work. More than commercial work, I prefer shooting for magazines and collaborating with different people.
But you get paid for it, no?
See, depends. Like if you're working for magazines internationally, you are not paid that well. In
No,
India, you get
something is being paid, right? It may not be as much, but it will be something to be, you know.
something. But in India, editorial pays you really good.
Okay.
India, I think standards are high in terms of editorial. You get paid.
Okay.
So this was a really interesting story I had to shoot for this magazine called Pairs Project. So they had told me like it's an open book. Whatever you want to shoot, just shoot it. So I thought to use climate change and how there's a contrast between two worlds and bring it together. And so I collaborated with one of my photographer friend who shoots landscapes. He's like landscape photographer. So I was like, let's try and see how we can blend these two worlds together. So the picture on the left is taken in Ladakh by him, and I shot this in Paris. And I was like, let's see how these two photos connect together and let people imagine what they can. And there was another picture from, yeah, this is it. There's a whole story I think you can see on my.
I met him. Yeah. Mhm.
Then there was a really interesting film project again.
Sagar Vora says hello to you.
Huh, I am.
Hmm.
So this friend of mine, he was leaving Paris, and he skates around everywhere in Paris. So I was like, you know what? I'll just follow you the whole day, and that was I think his last night in Paris and something like that. So I was like, I'm just gonna shoot you. So we just made this.
Oh, you put it on the I see.
Yeah. So he just wanted to give something to Paris. He's like, I'll just do this. So I like shooting personal stuff also. Like I really enjoy exploring ideas.
You use the local music,
Yeah.
you know, and that also little film noir type, the old stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to use jazz and see how it
Mhm.
went really well. You know, eventually it's really shocking. Like I never expect to get work, but when someone sees this and they'll imagine their work and they'll give me work. So I got a lot of shoot after seeing people seeing this film. Like we want something on this mood. Why don't you shoot for us?
Makes sense. I mean, makes sense. So that's what I'm thinking. You are continuously upgrading yourself and upgrading your portfolio
I'm doing
non-stop,
almost, yeah, every week. I
non-stop.
can't,
That's the fantastic marketing strategy. Fantastic marketing. Because
I,
most people, I think, just shoot a few pictures and then keep on thinking कि बस ये अपना life बना डालेगा. You know, it's stupid or something like that. But
and
yeah.
also I think when I hold camera, it feels like it's a meditative process. I literally transcend. So for me, it's like also like a therapy where you can just forget everything
Mm.
and just be yourself. And you actually forget who you are when you are holding a camera. You just
Sure.
remember your ego.
Sure enough. Sure enough.
So this was again from the same series which I was talking about, like blending two different picture from Ladakh, and this was like from Paris. I was like, let's try and see how it works. Graphically, it makes sense.
Mm.
And also, I have this really love for nature, and I try to shoot everything somewhere in nature and outdoors, where I feel that's the most purest form of expression. And with nature, I think people also and models also can feel the vibe. When I think you put the same person in studio, it's very
Very
difficult
tough.
for me to
Mm.
express.
Mm.
I always give my characters a what do you call like a small character. Like I tell them like, okay, you are this person at this moment. You are not just a model, but more than a model. Like I tell them like you have to behave how a person would behave, like in a film. So I think people understand, and that's how they emote. Otherwise, it becomes like a really flat expression.
Mm. 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 This left, okay. Can you go back one? Yeah. The left hand side picture, you did it for yourself or for a client?
This was again for a what do you call a magazine.
Editorial, I see.
Yeah. So actually, this shoot was really spontaneous. A friend of mine, who is a stylist in India, she was in Paris, and she was like, she's a stylist, and she was like, I want to do some shoot while I'm in Paris. So I'm like, okay, cool, let's pitch to a magazine. And magazines are quite open over there. Like they let you choose your stylist and your whole team.
Mm-hmm.
And we shot these two guys who are like they're couple. So like let's try to explore this whole different way of how you guys see life and how you guys are chilling. We just shot a different location in Paris during
So
twilight.
the style is at the back. At the back
This is very nearby to Louvre Museum.
museum. Okay, fine. Looks very typical there.
Yeah, so I think yeah, even this shot was right over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. So you don't have that much problem shooting outdoors in location, not like in India where the moment you take out a camera, the cops come and stop you.
I think few places you can't shoot, but there's also a limit. Like if you are doing commercial work, then you have to take permission. But if you are shooting for yourself and very limited crew, you can easily shoot. You can't use tripod everywhere. You can't use lights everywhere. If you have to use all of that, you have to take a separate permission.
Permission for it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
But permissions are also easy. They are not that difficult as India. This is again on the right, the same two guys story continuing. So I think in 2018 I came to India for a while. I think I came for 3 4 months, and I was meeting a lot of people. I was like, again I want to shoot. So this friend of mine who has a brand called Boatmans, she's like, I'm doing this one shoot, and literally she calls me in the morning like, we are going to Alibag. I've spoken to 6 models. We are taking them. You just come, and I have no clue what's going to happen. And I think it happened to be a really interesting shoot. We shot this left picture in Alibag, and I think it was a really cool campaign that came out. Right? And we did a lot of different stuff because there were a lot of I think 5 to 6 models. So we were just taking around them everywhere. And I think in India also there are a lot of interesting locations. It's just that you have to look for it.
Hmm. I'm sure. I'm sure.
Then when I was here for that short time, I luckily found an agency who represents me. So she was like, "Do you want to be in India?"
Okay.
So she was like, "Do you want to be part of an agency? It's a new agency called A Little Fly." So I was like, "It would be cool. Like if when I'm in India, if you guys can give me work and promote me, that would be amazing." So we did this one whole campaign for Reebok. So they were basically GIF videos, and there were different all this what do you call influencers. 7 influencers we shot. I'll just show you the video.
So there are people now representing photographers in India.
Yeah, there are a lot of agencies now.
Really? I did. Oh, okay. Now see, I'm a little out of touch here.
Yeah,
You need to give them. Give me the list. Yeah.
I'll definitely.
Maybe I.
Like a drill through the skull.
So it was a cool campaign, but also the thing is you have to push a lot in India. Like now I really fight with my clients and especially creatives. Like this is how we should do it and keep pushing them because a lot of times the ideas they are very old, which are done and
I-
done to.
I.
You are like let's bring a new perspective and you have to keep pushing it. And somehow if you try pushing, then you can get it. But you can't sit back and complain कि India में तो ऐसा ही होता है. So that's a wrong way of seeing things. If you push, so this was a really cool campaign which we were able to convince the client and
Like a theory range. Like a drill through the skull. Get out of my system in the rave. And now the town's not quite so dull. Take a different path.
so yeah,
This movie. Okay.
people are experimenting and they were ready to, and this campaign went really well for good response. And now that's another thing. Everything is on Instagram. So this was campaign
That's
just
why I'm running vertical here.
yeah. And there are not many things happening for print. Like print is almost slowly dying somehow, I feel.
Quelque chose de classique, c'est quelque chose de matériel. Quelque chose de classique, c'est quelque chose de matériel.
Get something authentic and unique, and you see something ahead of time, something that's lasting.
Yeah, this was a
So, is your exposure to France and working in Paris, does that come into your work in India?
yeah, I think people right now what I'm seeing is, especially in last 2 years, there are brands and there are agencies who are ready to experiment, and they want people who are doing cool stuff. It's not just white background shoots anymore.
Yeah.
And I think also the kind of work you do, you attract that kind of work. So I'm also not attracting those really bad white background, gray background shoots. Those are gone. Like people don't really call me for that. I'm also happy that I don't want to do that shoot. Sometimes you do bad stuff to make money, but it's fine. It's work. It pays your bills.
Mm-hmm.
You do some crappy work sometimes.
There's a question from your friend Sagar. So,
Yeah.
what do you keep in mind while making your portfolio when you're shuffling from India and Paris?
So that my clear idea was like did a lot of studio shoots and did a lot of flash. I used a lot of flash. I was like, my idea was to shoot everything in nature and natural light, keeping it as minimal in terms of lighting and also not so flashy images. I was bored seeing those flashy, white, clean images. I was like, really less Photoshop work. I think it also evolved me as a person, and that was a whole transition for me when I went to Paris. So the whole way of seeing things again changed, and it's important to keep evolving. Also, you can't have a same style all your life. Like I think initially people had that, like Prabhu and all, had this really strong identity. But now I think with times things are changing, and you also have to adapt and evolve, and be very contemporary in a way. If you're not even contemporary, people won't give you work. So you have to be relevant at what's going in the scene right now. You have to know a lot of things.
You can stop sharing the screen so we can be big on the screen.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm. Okay, unless you want to take your, of course, if you want to start sharing your pictures, then that's of course.
No, if there are any question, you can ask.
No, this was a question at this point of time. The more pictures?
Yeah. So this was again a really cool shoot. There's an Indian brand called Brideland. They're specializing in I think weddings. So they style wedding, like really big wedding. So she was coming to Paris and she was like, I really want to do a Indian clothing in Paris, and how would it look? It would be really cool. And we were like, okay, let's give a sari to a white girl and see how it looks. So we tried shooting this, and I really liked it. And somehow even she was really happy. Like she has never imagined herself in this kind of look. So it worked really well. We shot across few gardens in Paris. She wanted to use art. So I think she also understood and she was really open at experimenting things. So that's really important, I think, as when you collaborate with people and when you work on campaigns, how your client also is ready to experiment. And that's how I think an interesting project is created.
Okay.
This campaign I did for this Japanese brand called Sumori Chisato. So they are very heavy on prints and kitsch. So I was like, again, let's go to nature and let's research. So there are this amazing forest, right? I would say 20-30 kilometers from Paris. And there are these big rocks. So I was like, I'll just do a recce and come. And I took the models there and we shot. And it turned out to be a really amazing shoot. And the brand has never done something like this before. They always shot everything in Paris, Paris, Paris. For them, it was like, we want to shoot everything there. I was like, let's try and shoot in nature. Right now, I'm doing a lot of shoot in nature. And it turned out to be amazing. Like, and they were like really happy. They were like, at least we have a new way of seeing things now. And if you see the whole shoot, right now I don't have the whole shoot. So the idea was like two girls are chilling in city and they're really bored. So suddenly they transcend into a different picture and they come into nature. I think that I like that contrast between nature and city life.
That's,
Try to bring that also somehow in my work. This was again Alibag. So she basically, it's the brand is all about used clothes. So she sells clothes from all over the world, and she sells it again. So they are basically she picks up from Paris or Italy or anywhere. Like there's this really big culture of thrift shops in Europe, and also I think US. In India, I don't think so. We have that culture. So she's trying to bring that old '90s vibe culture, and she's selling all this really cool clothes.
so like somebody's used it and then they just wash it and put it in their shop to sell. Is that?
Yeah, they're like vintage clothes basically.
Wow.
And
Interesting.
there's a huge demand right now, and there's also this sustainability thing which comes in. Like you're not buying.
Why throw it? Why waste it? Absolutely. I agree with you. In any case, India is great at recycling things anyway.
Yes. So this was a campaign for a friend of mine. She was coming up with this really clean aesthetic, Chinese decent, and we were like, let's try and shoot something which is next to the beach because she wanted a summer look for the whole collection. We went to this place. I think it's 3 hours from Paris, Etretat. It's really beautiful. So I was like, let's shoot. It's fun, and that's the best part of photography. Like you can travel and explore new places on your client's expenses.
Obviously. I mean, that has always been the plus thing about shooting outdoors.
Yeah. I think that photo got hidden. So this was another campaign for this designer. She designs homes and clothes and everything. So she's more like I would say product designer who designs lifestyle kind of thing.
Lifestyle, exactly.
Yeah.
Lifestyle, yeah.
And she's based in she's basically from Thailand, but currently she's living in Paris. And she was like, I want to also show lifestyle and I also want to show clothes. So we hired a Airbnb apartment and just did the whole shoot there.
Interesting. Interesting.
And that's also interesting part of Paris. There are a lot of people coming from all over the world. So my clients right now, they are not just French clients. They are like someone is from Egypt, someone is also from Argentina. So there are a lot of people who come to Paris for shoots during fashion weeks and all of that.
Interesting. Interesting.
So that's
But I have always found Paris and France overall very fascinating. Even as a youngster, when I've been there, I fell in love with that city.
yeah, I
I
think
always thought, जिस दिन retire होएगा ना, तो इधर होना चाहिए. Because if somebody who's from the art side, that is the Makkah for it, you know.
yeah, it's a different world altogether. Like,
Absolutely different ballgame. It's absolutely different ballgame.
and also how people are really open to share ideas and work. That's really big. This was a lookbook for the designer. And also the thing is, they work really hard. Like the designer was standing next to the guy. None of the things are Photoshop. The clothes he was just doing by his hand. He's like, I don't want to have a single wrinkle on it. So the dedication also they have for their own work.
Barabar.
Like here, people ask, when is the last shot? When is the last shot? That thing over there is not there. People are like, let's shoot. Unless you get the best shot, let's just.
The job done. That's basically the idea.
So I think that dedication people should have to get really good quality of work.
Sadly missing in this country. I know. I know.
It's also people are in a lot of hurry. The pace of life is also very slow in Europe. Like people are at chill. There's no what do you call? Won't call you after 7 o'clock in the evening. Your clients definitely won't call you over the weekends. If they call you, they'll say, "I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. If you have time, just send me this." Here, people will call you at 12 also in midnight and say, "Ki bhai, wo picture bhej do." So that kind of piece is really
Yeah, I know. But when you're talking about hurry in India, we hurry, but we always reach late anyway.
yeah.
You know, so
That hurry, you won't get a good product. You have to wait to
absolutely,
get a
absolutely.
good product.
A lovely bright prints this guy is using.
Yeah. And also the idea was he was like, let's not do just standing portraits. Let's experiment with the flow and let's see how we can get interesting cuts and shapes. So this shoot is very different from my own style. So yeah, it happened to be that same girl from Thailand. She's a creative director. She calls me one night before, and she's like, "There's this new bag. There's this brand which is very Lonsdale is very big. I would say it's one of the biggest luxury brand bags. So they were launching with a new bag which was for young people. So they were like, they are looking for a new guy to shoot with a different perspective. I'm like, you're calling me just one night before the shoot. She's like, yeah, that's it. That's the thing. That's the tricky part. They want to do it really quickly. And initially they told me just for Instagram, just for Instagram. So I'm like, okay, cool. And the thing in Paris is you can't book equipments right away. Like how in India you can call anyone at 3 a.m. also and say, "Mere ko ye chahiye," and you get it. Over there, there's a huge process. You have to deposit money. You have to give proofs. So I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get equipments. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was like, well, how will I shoot? And the shoot was indoors. They are like, we have to shoot something indoors. We have booked a place. We have to shoot there. We can't shoot anything outdoors. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So my friend was like, you know what? Just use one flash, camera flash, and just do the whole shoot. I was like, seriously? I'm like, that's not even my style. He's like, it doesn't matter. Right now, just do it. And I just used one flash for the whole shoot, like just one camera inbuilt. I didn't even have a flash. I bought it from a friend. And the brand loved it. They used it everywhere on their store hoardings. And they're like, this is exactly what we want. And they have kept the bags very clean, but they're given this green neon tinge inside. So it represents youth. It's not like very boring. So they had wanted to maintain the style of Lonsdale, but for younger people.
Yeah, the hard light pops the colors anyway. So
I was like, good, it worked out in my favor somehow.
Interesting.
So also, I think you can experiment. That's what I've realized. That you can't stick to like game era style there. I want to shoot only this way. You can try different styles and see what works.
Interesting. Yeah. Nice.
This was again a shoot for Japanese designer. He makes clothes which are unisex, but even a guy can wear and a girl can wear. So we decided everything is black. Let's shoot at night with one flash, and we just went around Paris and just randomly shot wherever we felt this is a cool place. We just kept shooting.
But there's some blur at the back. That means you did a tiny bit of panning in it, is it?
Yeah, a bit of panning. That creates the mood, I think.
Movement. Yeah, nicely done.
Slow shutter. And also shooting at night is really peaceful. Nobody's really there to disturb you. If there are no people, so you can just go anywhere, shoot anywhere. And these two models were really amazing. How they worked with each other. This, I think, when last time I was in Paris, I did this editorial for this German magazine, Kunst, and it was the whole idea of feeling like a tourist in city. So I was like, let's try and see how we can, like if you go to Paris, you'll see so many tourists everywhere. If you visit for the first time, you'll be like, I don't know why Paris is so hyped. A lot of people tell me like Paris is too hyped. So I was like, let's try that perspective and let's see how people see from a visitor's perspective and tourist perspective.
Interesting.
Then I think 2019 I came back to India, and then I haven't gone to Paris since then. So I was doing a lot of work in India. I think I came back in September, October, I guess. September. And I started meeting magazines, and my agency was lining up a lot of shoots for me. So Elle has been a really great, magazine which I've been working like, I think last 1 year, I've been doing a lot of work with Elle. Like constantly for every month, I think I'm doing 2-3 shoots for them. So this was one film which I did with them.
Anything wrong?
He's not sharing.
The old screen is on. Still, you shared the old screen, not the new one.
Huh?
I'm still seeing the L and Bhumi.
Yeah. I need to. This is a video.
Oh, this is a video. I see.
This is a video.
We are not seeing the video.
Okay.
That's what.
Now?
Yeah.
to shoot really bad footage. So we used those Sony Handycam, which you get, where people shoot. Just used that camera and shot the whole video. Like, it should look really crappy quality. And luckily, L is quite cool. They are like, yeah, do whatever you feel like. We had an issue. We shot the whole thing on that video.
The Sony guys are gonna kick your butt,
Then there was this girl. She's a really big, I would say, influencer on Instagram. So I think she approached me. She's like, I have this shoot for Dior, which will you do it? And I'm like, yeah, sure. If Dior is in the,
It's a nice brand to work for, yeah.
so yeah. So what I said, like, let's do something cool. So we hired a small sailing boat near Gateway, and we just shot the whole. I think there were 4 bags. We shot the whole thing over there, and she was like literally had seasickness. She was like, I'm not feeling well, but somehow she was like, let's try and shoot. So somehow we did the shoot, and actually she really liked it. So nowadays, this is also a very big market. Working with different influencers, a lot of influencers don't pay you, and the thing is, brands pay them. Brands don't directly pay you. So it's a really tricky market. A lot of people are getting into that, doing a lot of free shots. But I'm like, I don't want to do it for free for sure, because there's a big brand involved. So I think young photographers should be aware. Like, a lot of celebrities are using this, especially in India. Like, let's do a Instagram shoot, and when they are getting ready for their, what do you call it, any event, they want a photographer to shoot on a plain backdrop, and a lot of people are doing because it's a celebrity. And I also got a lot of offer for doing for really cheap money. I was like, I don't want to shoot at that many celebrities, because it's not really fun also to work with them. And they have this whole idea of how their managers want them to look. So you can't really push them a lot. So I try to work as less as possible with celebrities. So this was a really amazing client, and she was like, they have been in industry since really long time. Fatmo is quite big. They do like really big makeup work. Like, if you, let's say, Gully Boy, they are the ones who created the whole look for the film. So they work on a really big scale, and they also have a school which they run, which is a makeup academy. So they're like, it's been so long, we haven't done anything fashion. We've been doing a lot of film work, but we haven't done fashion. So let's do a campaign. So we were brainstorming. We met for like, I think almost a month. We used to meet and we used to discuss, like, we should do this, we should do that. And then I said, like, why don't we use a really old lady in a shoot, and let's just do a very clean, simple makeup, and that's how your campaign should be. And somehow she was convinced. She's like, yeah, that's a really amazing idea. And I was like, let's shoot a guy. Like, people don't really see makeup or any kind of work on a guy. So she was really ready to experiment, and we shot this campaign, and she wanted to put in different magazines. And for me, I think it's good to experiment with different people.
Absolutely.
So, she is actually Devanand's wife, Kalpana Karthik. So she was an actress long back, and she was so comfortable in front of camera and so calm. I think that generation knew the calmness. Like, she was giving me that pose for like 5 minutes. She was like, she'll hold it and she'll look straight in the camera. Right now, people are just moving left, right, center, fatafat. And it's very composed in a way. And it was really fun to work with someone. I think she would be 89, 90, I would say.
Wow. This is still beautiful.
So beautiful. So I was like, you have to constantly keep pushing your plans also towards your ideas. Like, don't tell them to give a concept. Rather, you tell them, like, let's do this. So it works for me. Somehow I try to convey that thing, like, let's try this, let's try this. And initially it's difficult for them to accept. But then I think if you keep pushing them, they'll eventually be like, okay, let's try.
Makes sense.
Vogue was completely, Sabyasachi was, I think, completing 20 years in fashion. I think it was his 20th anniversary. So there was this whole massive show. So Vogue had commissioned me this one whole project of following Sabyasachi for 3 days and taking his portraits. So this was one of the portrait from that assignment.
Interesting.
And I think I've been working with Vogue also regularly. I'm doing films and photos both for them. There's another film which I'll show. So now there are a lot of brands who are involved with magazines. So they are creating content. Like brands are approaching magazines and it's more like an editorial kind of a thing. And they are doing a lot of films to promote them. So this was one of the film for Vogue and a diamond brand. Yeah, this was I think my last work, one of the last work before lockdown.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have stopped working for a long time. Man.
Yeah. So this was the campaign, I think, just before the lockdown, I think, which got released somehow. I did for Skechers. Again, this campaign, it was really tough time to convince the client and agency. Agency was convinced somehow. They were not, what do you call it, hiring a good location. They were like, let's shoot somewhere random, and let's just finish the shoot. I was like, we have to search for a really cool location, which the kind of images I'm thinking of. And eventually, I think it took us almost a month to find that location. And then we shot this in Pune. There's this institute called, what's the name? There's this one really cool institute in Pune, which has amazing modern architecture. But I think one of the really big architect in India called B.V. Doshi. He had created the whole institute. So it's Flames, yeah. The name is Flames. So we went all the way to Pune and did this whole campaign.
Interesting.
So here I used Flash, obviously, because I had to freeze the moment. Using natural light and daylight won't really help me. So few places where I need to use Flash, I still use it. So these are the pictures I took during lockdown. I was like, I'm at home. Let's try and experiment with different things. So I made this mini series of like 6-7 different series I was working on. And I was like, eventually I'll make a proper series. I was like, let's shoot something. Because 4 months doing nothing is quite, I was tired watching films, read books. So yeah, I think it's constantly effort of keep shooting, keep working on something or the other. I think, yeah, that's it.
Oh, good. We have a question for you. from one of our students, James Sharia. He's asking you is what advice will you give to a photographer if he or she is planning to move to Paris? How can they prepare themselves professionally and also market them?
See, I think it's very individual. I would say you have to be very active over there. Like if you shy away by saying people are not really replying to you, that won't happen. You have to constantly be behind them. And also, I think your work speaks for yourself. If people are not replying to you, means you have to somehow
Work
make sure
harder.
your work is on that level, then people will reply to you. And I think you can change perspective. A lot of people told me like Paris is a very difficult market to crack and all of that. It's not so easy, but I feel it's easier than Bombay for me somehow. It worked out really well, and also over there people are really excited to see a different approach in work. So when I talk about my Indian philosophies or something like that, they really want to know more about it. They're like not many Indian photographers or creative people we've met who have really shared things with us. And also, I think there's a whole new phase of transition where things are really accepted. And if you are doing cool work and interesting work and constantly working on something or the other, they really want to work with you.
Hmm, hmm, hmm. But
Also,
the
just
bottom line is the way what you've been doing is that you've been constantly upgrading your portfolio.
yeah, like you have to shoot at least 2 3 times a week, 2 times a week for sure. Like do test shoots or do something or the other. Keep building a portfolio, and it's not about portfolio. It's just about your own love for photography, I think. And I didn't really went out for looking for a lot of work. It eventually started coming to me. I didn't really go and say like, give me work, give me work.
Yeah, but that's how it is. The first thing that starts, you do a good job, then of course the word of mouth starts.
Word of mouth, yeah.
You know,
And nowadays, I think Instagram, it's so easy. Like you can literally speak to anyone in any corner of the world, and if they like your work, instantly you can work on the shoot together. Like I just drop a message. Like if I really like a brand or an agency, I would be like, I really want to meet you and share my work. And I think if you have an interesting perspective, people will entertain you, no doubt.
Good. Just stop sharing your screen so that people can see us bigger. Yeah, better, much better. Okay, so basically you feel that we need to keep on shooting is what we've been telling our students also. It's a little funny, because I find this happening all over all over India. Let me put it into brackets, India. Is that most photographers, they only remove the camera when they have a shoot. After that, the full shoot is finished, put it in the back. They won't open it till the next assignment comes.
I
And
think
which is, I think, the sad story because which basically means that you're wasting the time for evolution, which you have, which is your personal time, and that's what you would like to shoot and show more pictures to people. So it's a little sad that that is something that happens in this country. Anyway,
I think
uh, yeah, tell
can't,
me.
I'm saying commercial work can't shape your what do you call style. Your
It
personal work defines your style. And
never.
it will come for you for your personal work. For me, definitely. For everyone, it works differently. For me, it's always been like people see my personal work and they approach me. They never seen my commercial work. I don't even put my commercial work out so much. I try to keep as low as possible my commercial work putting out there. I try to showcase what I really see as a photographer, rather what my clients want to see.
That's a very important thing because most people today, they are so, stubborn, they say, look, nahi, मैं इधर फटाफट lighting सीखेगा, बाहर जाके I'll become a king. And then they shoot a commercial portfolio. When I tell them, अरे यार, go to Crawford Market, go to there and see if you can come out with something deadly, which nobody can see or something like that. Lazy bums will not go, but doesn't matter. It's evolving. Students also evolve. They are getting a little faster. They want their life to be faster. They think that they can be overnight millionaires, which is not going to happen. It takes a lot of people, including talking to some of the biggest photographers or artists. It's taken them years, if
I
not
think
decades, to get where they have reached, basically. But these kids want to conquer Rome in one night, basically, which is of course, very dicey, very difficult. Maybe if they are born with a very lucky streak, maybe one or two might make it, but not everybody can do that. You know? So, anything you would like to end this session with? Any kind of input that what the people can do in the in COVID situation, and once COVID gets out, do you have any suggestions for them?
I think even while you are at home, you can shoot. Like I did a lot of shots by myself. Like let's just keep. So at least you are constantly, what do you call, looking at things, and also criticizing is very important. I see in India we don't have. We have either very bad critics or it's okay, बहुत अच्छा काम है, बहुत अच्छा काम. People don't really discuss. I think there should be group discussions amongst your friends.
Criticism नहीं है.
Yeah, or even at school. So you, for example, if someone shoots, so there you should ask and you should have a meaning like why did you shoot that? Why did you use that specific color? And to start with making your own mood boards and writing stuff. Like you, as a I
Mood
think creative artist, you have to keep writing stuff and what you are looking for with your end project. So I think your idea gets more clearer. You get more clarity at the end. Like this is exactly what I want to do. And yeah, I think a lot of research is important. Research plays a really important role in my work.
Absolutely.
You have to not just look at different references for photographers, but also like read different things and what do you call, learn from different people, like or read books or watch movies. Like I watch a lot of movies from Tarkovsky to Kubrick to everything, and you also learn from that movies.
Yeah, you must have seen me watching all that kind of stuff also when
I
I'm.
think we used to have sessions in Shari.
Remember,
Yeah.
yeah, let's go, let's see this kind of thing. Yeah, I know. But like I said, there's a lot of difference between. I'm finding the evolution among students getting very different nowadays. But I'm still very optimistic, and I'm very sure that one day Nirvana will happen because it always happens. You know? Yeah?
It will happen. Yeah.
It will happen. You know, guys. If anybody has any questions, this is the time that you can ask. So, anybody, guys? There's one more question has come. Last question. Why last question? James said you are allowed to ask as many as you want. Last question. How much is it? How much is it important to learn the French language? Is it online learning is sufficient, or should I join any courses or go to any school to learn French?
Oh,
Alliance Française de Mumbai. You can go there and learn it. I'll give you the address.
the thing is, I didn't learn French at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm still surviving without speaking French. It depends on people. If you speak French, I think it will be faster. Everyone has their own theory. Like for me, I can just have a basic conversation. Like if I want to go to a mall, buying groceries, I can do all of that. But I didn't really put so much effort in learning French. And also a lot of people in what do you call fashion, especially, they all speak English.
English. Yeah, I know.
So that's not an issue. But obviously, if you these are, I think you shouldn't really bother about. And it's not really that if you go only to Paris, you can go anywhere in the world and learn, and even be in India and learn. That's not really the important part. I think if you're meant to be somewhere, eventually you will reach there.
True. And I think after Europe became EU, when it became one big unit, after that obsession of only speaking in their own language is also cooled down a lot, because now there's migration for work all over Europe. So
Yes.
they cannot do that if they cannot go and work in Britain if they know only French. So I think a lot of those barriers have come down quite a bit. At the same time, there are a lot of softwares and apps available which
Yeah.
can speak the language you want. You speak from your language, you'll translate it, and
But it's not about the language. Like I have few friends who learned language really well, but still somehow they are not getting enough work. And I'm like, it's not about just the language. Like you can't learn language.
Absolutely. I agree.
Like, I think
I
the work
completely agree that it's your work that puts.
yeah, it's purely your work.
Yeah,
It's nothing, there's no other factor. If you're not getting work, you have to constantly make yourself better. And I had initially people used to tell me on my face like your ideas and all doesn't make sense. Whatever work I'd done in India, for them they rejected that. They are like, I don't know, the way you're trying to communicate, it's not coming out that well. So I had to reinvent myself and
Of
create
course.
something.
Of course.
So I think that takes time. It's about learning yourself what exactly you want from it.
Mhm. Yeah, I know because we had some French photographers in, and I showed them the latest fashion magazines here, and some very, very, very big name photographers had shot it out there, and then they say the first reaction, gut reaction that came, "What is this crap?" You know, and I said, "My God, the way they think out there versus what we do here, the more like the Pinterest ka reference liya, thok diya kind of thing. This
Yeah,
kind
I
of
should stop. For me, I literally stopped referencing my images. It somehow blocks you, and you somehow try to replicate the same thing back.
Hmm,
You
hmm,
should see things, but keep in, I think, back of your mind and use it spontaneously, but not go with one idea. Ki, for that
absolutely,
picture,
absolutely.
let's create the same picture.
No, I agree. I totally agree on you. You want to share this with me? Okay. Thanks a lot, Dhruvin, because there doesn't seem to be many questions coming in. But before we do that, we're going to just let everybody know who's coming in the next shot.
Okay.
We have the 11th episode, guys. Please do join us for Meet the Master Craftsman. The 11th episode, we have Vinod Krishnan. He happens to be a celebrity shooter and has done a lot of interesting work. And he's been doing it for a long time. So it'll be a very interesting to talk with him and understanding his life journey also. So do join us on 5th of July, 6 p.m. and we will see you there. Uh, so thanks a lot, Dhruvin, for being here with us.